So I wanted to do a quick video for a lot of you guys that have seen my old videos with my old purple sand rail, 2332 turbo. Thing was bad to the bone. I've got a new one. Some of you guys have seen this one in the videos. I wanted to kind of do a walk around, kind of talk about, what it's been, what it can do, what it is, where it came from, all that good stuff. So real quick, so this was after I got mine. For any of you guys that haven't seen Vic Ferrari's channel, so it's Vic Ferrari's Garage, another YouTube channel. Awesome stuff on there. He's actually got a lot of videos of him building this one. Him and I have been friends for, over a decade now. Used to work together, and just had a lot in connection, or a lot in common. Kept hanging out. After I got mine, went out and he bought the frame. Basically, it's kind of the similar frame to like the old Chenwis from like Desert Storm. If you ever look up those old fast attack vehicles that the military, or I believe it was the Navy, used, same kind of frame setup. He got this one out of somewhere in California. I think it was Palm Springs. Now, as far as what he did, he went ahead and put all the body panels on there and everything so that it would give it a little bit more, wind resistance. Added a windshield, some other things, obviously all the lighting. Add a little winch on the front. It's only a 2,000-pound winch, but this weighs 1,100 pounds. It can still drag it up a tree. Very impressive, especially for just a little cheap one. It is a four-seater, which is pretty freaking awesome as far as these go. It is running on the rears. It's running 33-inch tires. These are 33, 12.5 by 15. The front I'm running, what am I running on the front? I think they're 15-inch as well. They're Toyo Open Country. These are 225, 75 R15s on the front. Just awesome. Doesn't weigh anything, so the front is more than enough. Did go ahead and build the snorkel up nice and high, keeps the dust out of it. Also, I've ran this thing through water up to my shoulders sitting in it, and it can handle it. So it's a super well built engine. Vic did an amazing job with it. As far as the rest of the engine, so that's kind of the basics on the body, the tires, suspension on all the corners. It's still basically Volkswagen. Except for the shocks on all four corners are the Fox Shock 2.0. Rears obviously have the reservoirs. Huge upgrade. If you guys, as far as shocks go, you guys will see some of the videos of what this will do. I could jump this thing. I can rip it down trails. My shocks never overheat. Amazing vehicle. Set of shocks as well that Fox makes, obviously. We got the supercharger cooler up top. The regular radiator here, obviously it's no longer Volkswagen. When it comes to, yes, supercharger cooler. So the big red, white, and blue supercharger on there. Call this beast Old Glory. Kind of for all of the red, white, and blue and kind of the way that this was designed. Absolutely love it. But the engine on it is the 2.2 liter Ecotec, supercharged Ecotec on there. I've never had it dynoed, but it puts out some power. I know you could throw a smaller pulley on it, tune it a little better. Probably get another 100 or 150 horse out of it. I wouldn't think too difficult. I'm guessing right now it's probably putting out around 300 horse. It's got that nice supercharger whine to it, so it's really, really legit. As far as the transmission in it, it's got an old, I think it's a 3-rib bus transmission. It is a monster. The way that Vic built it, went ahead and put a very low first gear in it. Good crawling gear. Helps you to just, you could just 3 miles an hour, pretty much in idle, climb some of the steepest stuff around. Great thing about this vehicle is, too, it's so light when a lot of Jeeps start digging and a lot of your heavier SUVs start digging in and losing out here on this loose, Arizona rocky soil. This thing's light enough that it stays on top and it doesn't bury. So I can climb a lot of just the craziest stuff that would really surprise a lot of people. So it's got that low first gear. Second gear run right around like 3,000 RPM at about 25 miles an hour. Third gear will run about 3,000 RPM, closer to, or actually I think about 2,800 RPM, close to about 45 miles an hour. So it's good for residential, regular street roads. And then the fourth gear, I threw in like a freeway flyer gear. Easily, as I've been out here on the freeways, I've taken this, from Phoenix, Glendale, Buckeye area. I've driven it all the way up to Prescott, 2.5 hours away, way up into the pines from out here in the desert. Took it on the freeway the whole way, doing 85 or 80, 75, 80, almost the entire drive, for like 2 hours. RPM in the engine's running about, at 80 miles an hour, I think it's about like 3,200, which is no issue for this engine. It can run 35 all day long. Even then, I think its red line is up close to 65, 7,000 RPM, somewhere around there. You can easily sleeve them, forge internals, do some other stuff. I got a buddy, Fred, mechanic, that he's putting same engine. He sleeved it, done a bunch of forged internal work and other stuff, putting out 700 horsepower through his. It's an absolute monster. It's unbelievable. But for a 4-cylinder, putting out 700 horse is absolutely ridiculous. But this thing is a beast. Heck of a vehicle. Vic did an amazing job. You can see a bunch of his build videos. Like I said, Vic Ferrari's Garage. Definitely check it out. Anyways, heck yeah, on to some good videos. I also wanted to throw in a couple other details right before I go. The awesome thing about this, I'm guessing 0 to 60, I can wrap out 60 in second gear. I think I can get it pretty easily within about 3.2 seconds, 0 to 60 run. When you do run through those gears, even with me sitting up in the front, it does pull that front wheel off the ground most of the time. Definitely a pretty impressive acceleration. Now with this, I wanted to also tell you guys, so I'm running, people don't believe me when I tell them this, but when I'm off-road, I'm running this at about 5 pounds in these tires. It is actually definitely front and rear. 5 pounds is plenty for how light these vehicles are. And it makes for a much softer ride when you're ripping around these trails. Eats up a lot of those little rocks and everything. When I jump back on the freeway, I generally pump it back up to about 10 pounds. There is a compressor under this back seat with a little air hose. I just pull it out, throw it on all the tires, add 5 pounds to each one. It takes a couple minutes, then I'm back on the road. As far as, do also have the recovery tracks on top. Only had to use them once, but they definitely got me out of a pretty sticky situation where I had I had tried climbing up a huge hill and buried myself in some thick, nasty dirt, and couldn't get out of this wash I had gone miles and miles down. But anyways, some good lighting on it. We've got these side lights that shine out kind of from the back at a 45, both sides, give you a great perspective when you're out cruising around. Do have regular headlights in the front, along with a little small light bar down low just for some good shadows when you're cruising along at night. And then these long range lights, these are Baja Spotlight and then a general light bar, but those help to just shoot out, and they get you a good 200-300 yards out ahead of you, so you can really see what you're doing when you're ripping around at night. They are ridiculously bright. As far as gas mileage, I think when I'm on the freeway, I can get up over 40 miles to the gallon when I was heading up into the northern areas. Insurance on these are registered as a motorcycle, so it's like I think it's like $150 for an entire year. So super cheap. Trying to think what else. Registration was like $25 a year. You have to get that off-road tag, which is $25, so I guess it comes out around $50. Oh man, that's kind of the main details. I do have a little toolbox up underneath the front. Just a random collection of tools in case I need anything. Yeah, I mean, those are kind of the big details. It does have a pretty impressive little brake setup on the rear. Brake lights are good and bright, turn signals. All those little details to keep this thing and make it street legal. It's got the horn on it. Yeah, I mean, that is the beast. So, and the final thing that I think is a big thing for mentioning is the full belly skid plate. I have definitely gotten every dime out of that. Scraped and banged and beat it up. Super useful. So anyways, that has been very, very worthwhile thing to add on to it. Is with all the scrape and banging and everything else that I do to this, that has probably saved this thing a million times. So all right,